Hello, welcome back to our channel. Welcome to the newcomers if you're watching for the first time. Today we want to take a look at finding the right balance between the form of Aikido techniques and some kind of openness or creativity in the movement. So we'll take a look at this, we'll discuss a little bit what we think about it, we'll share with you, so stay with us for a few minutes and we'll talk about it.
Okay, so let's take a little bit of a moment just to talk about and then look at the differences here between the form and maybe openness or creativity. Now, with that said, they seem like two different things, but actually they work together. Anything that has a certain structure has sort of a flow to it, and like maybe a mountain has a river, and that river has a certain, maybe a bit of a structure, but it flows quite freely and it can even change. So if you think about that kind of metaphor, you see both the structure and the freedom to be creative and change. So the form and the flow kind of go together. So when we look at form, if we look at katate dori, we'll do just a very simple technique, katate dori ikkyo. And if I do the form, then there's lots to look at in the form. What angles do I have? Where's the structure? Do I feel aligned, with my center? There's lots of things just to explore just in the particular form itself. So there's an endless amount there. But in that form too, you may start to discover that when we talk about the angles, then what angles actually start to play, or what angles start to create different types of possibilities here. Okay? We could pick anything. We could pick angles. We could pick connection, for example. So when he grabs me in the form, even in the form, he wants to make a contact with me so that I can't just grab, get him or strike back at him. So there's a form here. We use hanmi as a form so that it's quite strong forward and backward. But now even in that, okay, in that particular form, there's a contact. And we could actually start to be creative with that contact, with that connection between us. So as I start to step out, I might start to notice how that contact leads way to a creativity. And I might be able to start to explore that creativity there. So how does that really affect him before I even take the ikkyo? Okay. So there's lots of different ways to explore the form and the creativity. The form will give possibly rise to what you can discover creatively. Okay. Vice versa, if you start with just creativity, you may find a particular form. Okay? So one example of that is if my partner is just going to reach out to grab me, and I want to be creative with it, I may accidentally find naturally sort of an ikkyo, like, oh, look, there's an ikkyo form there, and I wasn't really necessarily planning it. So if you're working on a spontaneous exercise, and you find that there's form that comes out of that, shionage, ikkyo, whatever, then you may realize that the flow of the creativity will, there will be like waves that show up in the ocean. You see the form that shows up like a nikyo or a nirimi nage. Okay? So these are different ways that you can look at the form and the creativity. There's a lot more to be said here. We won't go too much in depth today, so we'll do that in other videos. But if you have any other ideas about how you could work together, or even some of the differences between form and creativity, then leave some comments in the video below. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us.